Good morning, everyone. Beautiful Monday morning after the big super holiday, 4th of July, 250th edition. I hope you had a safe and happy one with family and friends, maybe some bonsai work on this glorious past weekend, big holiday weekend. I was coming up to Bonsai Acres late last night, Sunday evening, and the traffic coming back down from cabin country up here in Minnesota from the fourth weekend. It is the worst Sunday to drive home from the cabin or property that you own. The absolute worst. I've done it once or twice in my life, never again. So I was going up north on Sunday as they were coming down. Of course, as a teacher, I got summers off. You know the rest of the story. So the sprinklers went off at 10 o'clock this morning, which it does every morning, to keep all the bonsai trees in the bonsai soil in good shape. So the trees are looking good. I've already gotten started this morning. I put a couple of layers of dirt over in an area over here. Let's go show you that. Hey, welcome to Bonsai Acres. So just about every time I come up to Bonsai Acres, I've got the trailer on the backside of the four-wheeler and I'm hauling dirt from what will be the cabin. Now I'm going to get an excavator to go ahead and dig out the holes for the foundations pretty soon. But in the meantime, all the things I've been doing up here for the last year plus is putting dirt where I need it. The shed took a whole bunch, several dozen trailerfuls. The area around the shed to kind of level it off and make the earth go away from the shed. I just put in about 7 loads right here today for this little hole. That's where I dug up all of the cinder blocks for the cinder block graveyard. And so this was about 7 loads right here. We got to put 7 more here because we're still a good couple inches from the grade here. And there's all kinds of bumpy spots in here from where the trailer used to be here. So I'm going to need probably a good couple of dozen. I got a day or two to put a couple of more loads of trailer dirt here. And that, for the first time, is going to be dumped today or tomorrow. Probably tomorrow. I'm going to get that going for the first time. It's brand new to me, so that's going to be a whole new experience. I don't know if I'm going to film that because who wants to see me dumping, well, you know. I think next I'm going to go work in the river experiment, the river project, because I got a load of rocks down there. Because I can't clean up firewood stuff for the new firewood holder because of this. I got some fresh gas inside the steel chainsaw and I thought, hey, this is going to be great. Put in some of the bar oil to keep that in good shape. And when I went to go pull it, yeah, the pull broke off. Now, I opened it up. Always want to tinker and see if I can do stuff by myself, and I didn't even know where to begin. And I could YouTube it and watch that and get a new part and do all that. But you know what? There are just some things that are meant for other people to do. So I need to go drop this off. So it's just on the phone with Ace Hardware over in Sandstone. And I get to go drop this off on the back shelf, and the steel guy comes by. Now, the guy who answered the phone didn't know how often he comes by or what day of the week he comes by or how long it takes for things to get back. But he said someone else at the store would know more than him. So when I drop it off, I'll talk to one of the more senior folks over there. Senior in the sense that they've been there longer. I'm not saying that they're old or anything. How about experience? There we go. That's a better word to use. So we're going to drop this off. Oh my gosh, I'm whipping things around. And we're going to see if we can get the steel going in the next week or two, because I do want to cut down. There are probably a half a dozen dead trees around the edge of the property that I can start cutting down for firewood for the big firewood holder that we finished, last episode. Oh, it's looking sweet still, let me tell you. It's so clean and pristine. I also was on the phone with Josh from 5 miles away down in Bruno, where he owns the Bear's Den, right? And so we're going to get an excavator up here, and I can't wait to start digging in the ground and get those footers in so we can start building a cabin later on this summer. But I got to just take my time and do the footers really, really well, level with the tubes and all that good stuff. Well, guess what? He just tore the whole thing apart this weekend because of a problem with one of the pistons. And he said he's going to bring it in this week, and it usually takes about a week. So hopefully he'll bring it in like today or tomorrow. And this time next week I can say, hey, is it on the way back to you soon? And by the end of July, 2nd, 3rd, or maybe that last week in July, I can dig my holes. Now that's a long time to wait. So what am I gonna do in the meantime? I really am looking forward to working on that river today. We're gonna move some rocks. I hope I don't pinch my fingers and just drop anything on my toes. So after moving rock upon rock, small, big, and large, I have the southern part of the river all the way up to the edges of what the pond will probably be in the end. Now, as I put some water in from the solar pump, I'm at the point now where we're at the lowest point of the pond, which is right here, and I'm starting to get a little bit of water drainage right here. So this will be similar to where the dam will be, the overflow in the future. Now I'm going to raise this up. I'm going to put some rocks underneath here and raise this up another half a foot or so on this end so we can get more water on that end, because I would like water to be at least another foot higher, so maybe as much as a foot. You know, thinking out loud here. It's okay right now, but I'd like it a little bit deeper. So we'll make this a little bit taller, add more dirt around here. Oh, here comes the water again. And yeah, we'll have a nice little pond. So I'm already in my second outfit for the day, everybody, because I sweat so much that my shirt and my pants were all wet from being in the water and just sweating it up. And so got the bathing suit on. We're going to Kettle River to do some kayaking after I turn in the chainsaw to be fixed. So a couple of errands, a nice lovely stroll down the river. I might bring my fishing rod this time, see if I can land myself some fish. So we'll put the work on hold and do what we should do more often, and that's relax. The pond is coming out pretty cool so far. You know, we got a lot more rocks to go, but the southern edge here is looking pretty snazzy. Still pretty warm when I got back from the river, but a nice breeze, so I decided to work in the shade on the foundation form. That's right, I've got to make a total of 15 foundations, and I'm going to try to make 5 at a time. I was originally going to make 3 at a time, but I decided to get a few more 2x10s so I could make 5 forms in all, and I could make 5 forms in a day. Now that's pretty aggressive, but it's just mixing cement, putting them in here in the rebar. So if I have all the rebar set up, I have the forms all set up, that day all I have to do is mix cement. And so if I have Toby up here helping me, I think I can do 5 a day. So I've just got 2 more forms to make. 3 are done. I've only made 1 measurement error so far, but it's not anything of major concern, so I'm going to be okay. These are just footing foundation forms, so it doesn't matter if they're exactly perfect. And what I've done is I've made them 24 by 24. And to compensate for a 2-foot rebar, I actually made them 25 by 25 from wall to wall. So one board was 28, one was 25. We put them together and we have 25 by 25. So I can support the rebar that's 24 by 24. So I just have a few more screws to put in. And then I'm going to have part 1 of the 2-part of the 4th piece. And then we'll just have the last one to go. So these forms will be super, super strong and maybe a little overkill. Some people are probably wondering, what in God's name am I doing? But the reason why I'm doing this is up above a certain line in Minnesota, we have a frost line of 5 feet. The sonotubes for the pier part, the beam of cement, they're only 4 foot. Now you can get longer ones, order them and cut them. But I decided to just go with the 4-foot lengths, and these are going to be just under 2 feet high because it's going to be 9.5 and 9.5, 18 inches. So 18 inches at a 6-foot depth plus the 4 feet of the sonotubes will get me about 5.5 or so, give or take a few inches. And that's going to be below the frost line. And then these will be super big, sturdy at the frost line, if it even ever gets to 5 feet, and I won't have any shifting of the cabin. So that's what I decided to do, and I'm sticking with it. So once the 2 forms are made, they fit on together if I made all my measurements right, and that's pretty darn level and pretty tight. That's a nice fit. So these are the extra pieces of wood that I cut off, and so they are just going to form the braces. Harden off into a nice square shape. And there we have it. 1, 2, 3, 4 of 5. So I have one more to make, and then I get to go have some dinner. Another day up at Bonsai Acres is coming to an end, and it was a pretty good day all in all. A lot happened, but not a lot happened. I'll explain. I did get about 6 or 7 more trailerfuls of dirt, so we're almost level here. It still kind of slopes this way, and there's more to fill in here, but it's looking pretty good. Ran over a couple times with the four-wheeler, and if you've noticed, as you're watching this right now, there's something different looking about the property. That's right, where there once used to be an RV is just a big spot of dead grass now. So it's kind of like it's a parking stall for one, if anybody wants to come up and visit me. It looks like a little parking stall. Yeah, so today was the day, everybody. I brought the RV to the dump station, a town 5 miles away, and I got it there, and I figured it all out by myself because the guy who runs the place just wasn't available. And he said it's easy, so I went there and I took care of business, and I dumped it. So it's all fresh to get used again. So just to the right of where I've been storing my trailer for the last several months is the apple tree. My car parked over here. Nice little tent spot too if some people come up, but it's a good little parking stall for me. And then back here, behind the apple tree, in front of the massive oak, is the trailer. Now it sits a little higher here, but I think I kind of like it. Now some of you might be wondering, why in the world would I park the RV so close to the tree? A tree, storms and all that. Well, it's far away from any of the pine trees now, so no sap getting on the top. So that was one factor. It's nestled in here, which is kind of nice. Now these oak trees in this area, this one in particular, it's one of the biggest, thickest trees on the property. That oak tree, really isn't going anywhere. It's cozied back in here, and so I'm kind of far away from the shed, and I'm kind of back within where most of the action is going to take place up here when I'm here by myself with family, friends, perhaps you one day. So I love the new RV spot. I think it's going to be awesome. Now, while I was waiting for Josh to give me the green light to go do the dumping of the RV, which was going to be 1 in the afternoon, and after I did all the dirt moving when it was cool and no sun out yet, I was like, oh my gosh, I've got like 3-4 hours. What am I gonna do during that time? I really wanted to get the RV dumped and just that thing out of my mind, because that was really giving me some anxiety. So I climbed some trees. Yeah, and I cleaned out some of the old stuff. So there were a couple of storms years back, and a lot of the trees on the property have some really nasty broken branches, including a couple of really big pines. And this one was one of them. So I climbed this tree. Well, I got a ladder, everybody. I got a ladder. I was safe. I leaned it up against the tree, and I love climbing trees. I've been climbing trees since I was a kid. I love it. And so this tree, it looks really spindly now and sparse, right? Because, well, I'll show you the wood pile here. I got a clip of the shot of the stack of the old wood. That's almost all of it from this tree. There's a couple of birch branches and maple on there too, on that stack. But this tree had about 6 or 7 really big branches just all facing down, hung on by the bark of the tree from a previous storm. So I went up there and I went ahead and I cut them all down to clean up this tree, let more light in here. And there's another pine tree behind this red pine. So it's kind of a weird concoction. I don't know if it's a spruce tree of some sort. I really don't know what kind of pine is behind it. But we cleaned it up, so I spent about an hour up in this tree. It was fantastic. Every time I come up here and I see dead branches or trees that just don't look as pretty because of those dead branches or for whatever reason, or need more space for some reason, I always want to get a saw out and start cutting them. Well, my chainsaw broke. I think I might have mentioned that earlier. And it's in the store now, and it's got a week or two before I can even think about getting it back. So I was using my loppers, and I was using a good old-fashioned saw with big teeth. And so this area, as I was going to think about pulling in my RV, and in the future, if my septic system is up there, big trucks that have to come in here and empty my septic have to get through this path. And so there were a lot of low-lying branches. So I hated to do it, but I cut off 3 branches off of this birch tree. And now everything's at least 10 feet off the ground. There's a couple of spitty little maple branches here, but the pines were chopped off a little bit, the pine over here, and then this birch tree. So this is a lot more easily passable for those big trucks. Now, I didn't take a before shot, so you're gonna have to trust me on this one, but this is one of my biggest pines on the property as far as diameter. There's a couple that are this thick, some beautiful red pines on the property. And this is, again, was a weird one that had a lot of damage from storms. There's a lot of branches on these trees that grow like down and then go back up, and so almost bonsai-esque with a lot of movement on the branches, like this big one over here to the right. Holy moly, but then there's branches up there that grow back and this way and that way, and I cut off about 3 to 6 branches off of here as well to clean this guy up. Now, I'm cleaning this up for a couple of reasons, because this is close to the entrance to the property. If I ever want to get some rocks delivered to me and have them not dump them way out there, but be able to drive in, well, they need a little bit wider path. So along here, I cut all kinds of spindly young trees on both sides to give me another foot on both sides, maybe 2 in some spots, where I can mow these long weeds now. And I think wider trucks could fit in here. And then all the low-hanging branches from the poplar tree here, the pine tree here, the maple tree here, and I got a couple of ones to cut over there. But then now my buddy, Tim and Gay, they can come in with their RV, and hopefully they won't get any scratches on their beautiful RV. And so they'll be able to fit on here and do a nice loop-de-loop. And the trucks with the gravel in the future will be able to drive all the way to my driveway that leads into the garage area. I don't want to have to travel so much with the wheelbarrow. So a lot of stuff was cut here as well. Now, after I turned in the RV, after all the cutting of the tree limbs and the dirt and the RV dumping, then I made a trip an hour down the road to Mora, Minnesota for a lumber company. So it's K&J Lumber. And I'm going to tell you more about that in a future episodes, but I got to go meet the owners of K&J, and you'll understand in a future episode. But then after that, I thought, you know, I don't really want to do a whole much more because I want to rest a little bit. but I probably will start a fire and get rid of more of just the bulk of the messy wood that's not going to be for fireplace wood down the road, or I just have a lot of cleanup to do, so I'm going to do that next, get that started. And before I do that though, I'm going to wrap this up by telling you one thing that, well, a lot of people have been telling me to be careful up here. And I'm up here by myself most of the time, so far almost all of the time. And people telling me to have my cell phone with me, which I do 90% of the time. And I do have to report that I had my first accident on the property. And you've been able to see me talk, and I'm sitting now, and you know, I seem normal, I'm acting normal, I think. And it wasn't a huge accident, but it was one of those things that makes me slow down. And all of your well wishes to Dave, take a break. Go jump at the Kettle River and take another break down the river. That was done yesterday. A little time on the river always does wonders for me. Gets me away from here. It's relaxing. And I do have to sit down and relax more and just enjoy it up here. I really want to get this property up and running for a multitude of reasons, but I have to slow down. I have to be safe. So what was the accident? I'm leaving you at the tip of your chairs there. So today while I was climbing trees, and I didn't almost fall, but when I was climbing trees and up and down and cutting things with the loppers, so the big old pair of loppers, you know, 2 to 3 feet long loppers, I was doing something with loppers, and I don't know, I think I was trying to reach something with the loppers, probably something really dangerous now that I think about it. I was doing, I don't remember exactly what I was doing, but here's the gist of what happened. When you have the loppers here and you use one hand to do something and try to reach a branch with it or do whatever, something happened where I twisted it. Oh, I can't slap a tick. Yeah, wood tick. The lopper handle, I only had one of them. The other lopper handle came back really forcefully and hit me right in the neck, like right here to the left of my Adam's apple, and just got me really, really, it kind of threw me off guard. It really hurt. It was kind of a shock, and it's real tender. And when I twist my head, and even when I talk, there's a bruise there. I don't black and blue very easy, so it hurt. I didn't break anything. I can deal with a bruise, but it just made me go, whoa, Dave, yeah, I gotta slow down. So big thanks to everybody for looking out for me, telling me to slow down. I take it all, of course, to heart, and try to heed those warnings and those well wishes, and I try to slow down as best I can. But all is good, and yeah, I'll keep you updated if it gets any color on here. Maybe I'll show a close-up of my neck. I think even the guardian of the trees, my Uncle Jim, Sailor Man, would agree that I better take it easy. Now, just gonna relax and enjoy the fire, and a little bit more cleanup of all the extra wood, with an evening fire to wrap up another day up at Bonsai Acres. Well, good morning, everyone. It's coming up on 10 o'clock. It's a gray overcast day today, and I've already been quite successful. I fixed a solar panel. I got a couple of loads of dirt on a couple of low-lying areas on the property, and I continued to stage the work area for the cabin build. Now, as sad as it was that I couldn't get the excavator this week or probably next week, I think it's the best thing that ever happened to me on this build already. One of the first best things, and here's my reasoning. You all know I move a little fast and I just want to get things done. And what this is allowing me to do is to slow down. I'm being forced to slow down. And so I'm able to stage my area for the build. Now, once the excavator is gone, I'm going to be working on the footers. So where I'm sitting right now, well, I'm on top of all the footers. And so they're all staged here. I'll get a tarp to put over here in case it rains in the next couple weeks. We've had a lot of rain the last week or so. And underneath the blue tarp is all the bags of cement. Now, I only have 20 bags of cement. And before this project is done, I think I'll be going through about 200 plus bags of cement. So every time I go to the box store, I pick up 10 to 20 more from here on out. And this pile will get higher until it gets lower when all the footings are in there. And then lower again when all the tubes, the sonotubes, are full with rebar in there, ready for me to put my cabin on top of a really solid foundational structure. So I have to slow down. And for me, that's a good thing. And so here I am sitting on top of the footers, and it's already time for wardrobe change number 1. I mean, you kidding me? It's not even 10 o'clock yet, and I've already sweated through the first shirt. Now, keep in mind, it's only 66 degrees Fahrenheit with a cloudy overcast sky, but the humidity right now is at 91%. So no matter what I do today, I can just sit and stare at the trees trying to grow. And I'm probably going to sweat a little bit. I got a section of the yard that I want to start cleaning up more, and then maybe a couple more trailerfuls of dirt, although I get so tired of moving all these trailerfuls of dirt. You know, it's been a couple hundred trailer loads since I started this project, and it just gets troublesome, well, boring, and I just don't want to do it anymore. But I'll maybe do a couple more trailers, I'll clean up some of the yard, I'll trim a few more trees, and that's about it for today. I'm just going to lay low, try to relax. Although it's so ungodly uncomfortable, maybe I should go to the river and dunk in the water where I'm going to be really refreshed, because this is really not refreshing. All right, well, we'll see what's next. What's next is to see me get down from here. Ready? Yeah, I still got it. Woo! So the picture on your screen is looking south from about where the new trailer location is, and it's the before picture. And then as I move to the east side looking west, here is a picture of that same area. Let's go ahead and flip up an after shot looking west, and then let's do the after shot of looking due south. A little bit of a transformation. So my cleanup project today was right here where I'm standing. This was tall weeds, kind of like over here, small trees, weeds. And if you can look at the topography of the land here, it's just all over the place. An old tree, that was one of the first ones to come down. A lot of wood over there. This was just a mess where I would throw all kinds of cut timber, branches and things, different sizes, thicknesses, ages, some of it just really ready to be falling apart. And it just got dumped in here. And then of course, when it grows out in the summertime, it gets really thick. So now you can see right through to the gate, the second gate for the trees. And all of this was growing so ferociously from cutting down a stump last year on it and then a stump over there. And it just shut up all this growth everywhere. It's kind of like back budding galore for bonsai. And it's just this weird wonky tree. And it's one of those that I was going to cut down, but it looks so kind of funky. Might be fun to keep around for a while, but now that you can see around here, it just adds a nice little element right there. So the fire pit is at the very bottom of your screen, and this is where I was just standing. But you're looking now from the new fire pit, and look at how far you can see where the trailer's parked, the new RV, my car, the shed is way in the background if that's in sight. And so it's just a lot more clean and super nice. Now again, this is super bumpy, so we're gonna have to do some fixing of this, bringing in some dirt again. Or when I have my excavator, I might flatten it out all this way, make a pile of dirt over there, so I can start to bury my footings once I get that done, because I won't have enough dirt over there to cover up those pilings, those pillars. So I'm gonna maybe scrape some wood this way. So right at the bottom of the screen is a couple of big, chunky, kind of mealy wood that's not going to be good for a fireplace. That all came out of that grassy area. And then right behind me on the right side, or the east side of the fire pit, this is all wood that's kind of was dry. Again, old dead trees that came down, but under grass. And the last 2 days, the last 2 nights, we've had like a 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch of rain both nights. It's been really, really wet up here, and why it's still so humid up here. So all this is going to dry out, and we're going to put it where? When it dries out, we're going to have a fire right here. But there's more. A lot more. So we have a lot of the green weeds and some of the branches that I cut off from the tree, and all the other, this was all buried underneath that area of land. So everything you've seen by the fire pit here, the first shot and then this shot with all of this, was all in that cleared up area. So it's quite an amazing cleanup, and this will all go onto the fire at some point when it dries out. It's not good enough to cut up for any kind of firewood indoors per se. So, you know, we're just going to have some really good fires over the next week or so. Now, as is usually the case up here, when I start doing some massive cleaning and digging around, I find an old trash heap of some sort, and it's been all over the place. Here, there, over. I just never know what I'm going to find. Spices, anyone? Yeah, so there was a kind of a barrel here. I want to say it's a metal barrel. We'll go close up on that in a moment. And so this is kind of the remnants that kind of fell out as I moved the old degraded barrel. It's been in the ground for years, so who knows which owner put it here. But right here, kind of in the middle of the property in many ways. South side, but just, I don't understand. And so here you go. Yeah, metal. You know, an old something heap. We got those strawberry candy wrappers in here. I found this bottle laying around, and there's even old records that are still around here. I don't know what tune it was, but just trash and more trash. So we just got to continue to clean up. But not before I take a really nice break.